Obviously, just going back to last week, what a great week. I think obviously Saturday was a culmination of so much hard work from all the people we've talked about for so long, players and coaches and community and school and fans and students. And, it's just a great week. Going back to last time I talked to you, leading into the week, the whole week was really special. Just we had been so long since we had played a game and getting ready and all the preparation that went into it. And then the Friday night concert that I think was a great get the weekend started moment, and appreciate Sam Hunt coming and all his team, all they did for us, and the players getting recognized that night before, and then of course everything on Saturday, the whole from the walk to just the crowd at the game was just unbelievable. So I want to thank all the people that were involved in that, and of course really thank you to our fans for coming out like they did and supporting us. Atmosphere was terrific. That's something we hope we can continue to do and repeat. Legion Field looked great. And then, of course, the things in the game had a great start. Offense came out clicking and got us going early. And then, give Alabama A&M credit. They really played their tails off for a half. And I think our defense, other than a couple mistakes in the first half, we had a long ball and then just one blown coverage. Other than that, they played really well. Special teams was solid. Had the good field goal out of Vogel. And then second half, I think we went and made some good adjustments, really settled in and came out and really played a good second half, offense and defense and special teams, third and the fourth quarter, which is what, I think is a mark of hopefully a good team. So we'll see. We know we got our work cut out for us this week to go on the road, playing a MAC team who probably should have won their game Saturday. I think, that's how they feel. And then to get to go to their place, it's going to be a big-time challenge. So got a lot of work to do this week to get ready for this one.
It had been a little while since you've given one of those victory speeches.
Yeah.
How sweet was it to deliver that one?
Yeah, it was great. I think probably when you get ahead a little bit, you go ahead and get to enjoy that moment even on the field when you kind of start savoring it, and then you start already thinking about what's happening next. And I always want to be careful about not enjoying a win, and I think we did. I think just a lot of that is almost relief. That we got this day past us and now we're moving on to the next one. But I know the kids enjoyed it and our fans got to enjoy it, and it was a fun locker room.
What is the challenge with Ball State? What are they going to be? How are they going to be better than your opponent was last week?
Yeah, I think, from watching them from first to the last year, getting to watch them, they've got a coach who obviously gets it. He was in the NFL, and I say this, I don't really know their relationship, but being with Sean Payton, who I consider one of the best play callers in the NFL, and he's the quarterback coach, which is probably, he's a lot like the coordinator. I think you're going to see a lot of that passing game. I think, when you think about ball control and moving the sticks, they are a get first downs team. They got a quarterback that is dynamic. I mean, he is 6'6", 225 pounds, runs as good as he throws, great tailback. They really, do a good job on their offense. Whoever coaches their offensive line does a terrific job. So I think they found themselves after game one of last year. I'm really going to take you back to 16. First half against Georgia State, they were spreading it around, and looks like to me then they made the decision they were going to be a run, play action team, multiple formations. I think the big change I've seen from them this year from last year is the tempo. I think they were close to, it seemed like 90 plays, 80-something plays in that game, so playing really fast on offense.
They had a guy with 3 sacks in their last game. What kind of challenge is that, and how do you feel like your offensive line performed?
I think offensive line, we did some good things. I think there were some things we had not seen. That Alabama A&M, give them credit. I looked at their personnel on defense, and I'd already talked about Coach Pearson being a guy that I knew was going to do a really good job. I think we had some line twists in there we could have done a better job with. And sometimes we put them on an island, with one back, 10 personnel or even empty protection that can sometimes be hard. I think they were a little disappointed in some of the things they did specifically in the first half. I think we made some good little changes second half, and they responded well.
It's difficult. You're going to have tons of firsts this season.
Mm-hmm.
But the first road game, sometimes it's difficult to simulate how your team's going to react when they're away.
Yep.
Just talk about interested in seeing how your team's going to react to that.
Yeah, I think we all are. I mean, that's one of those things. I'd love to have loaded them up and take them on the road, and at least how does that look? Now, the good news, we've been in a hotel. The things we try and do are just the same. I do think there are some things when you go on the road where it's just you and this team, and you got to get back to back. And I think that'll tell you a lot about who we are. It'll tell me a lot about who we are before we go into conference play. Go on the road with an opponent that has had a lot of success in early games and at home. And we've been talking about this for a while, so I'll be interested to see how we handle it.
I know you talked about not wanting to enjoy that first win, but just to see how the team reacted to the tons of emotion and distractions that went with that first one and the way that they responded.
I could not really have been more pleased with how they handled the distractions. That's what we were laughing about. I mean, I got a country music superstar on the field on Friday, and we're doing a walkthrough. I mean, and he's there to come see us, but he's got this entourage. But we've had so much of that, and they handled it. I didn't see any silliness. I didn't see guys not paying attention. And I've been other places and seen that where you were constantly have to get on people. I mean, these guys were locked in on Monday. Then we got Friday night where we're actually out at a concert at 9 o'clock at night. But it was worth it to our fans. It was worth it to them. It was special things, once in a lifetime, maybe things that I thought they needed and our program needed. So we had to weigh those out. I think probably there's no doubt that affected us some, but that's part of it. You got to handle distractions. You've got to stay focused and locked in, whether you're at home, whether you're on the road. Sometimes some of those distractions on the road go down. You're not trying to find tickets for somebody and who's staying at one of these players' apartments and what's going on after the game. It is just, let's go and let's play ball.
I think on Saturday your defensive depth showed, and not really to keep them fresh, but just that you really couldn't tell who was in there, and they all seemed to kind of perform at the same level.
Yeah, we say all the time on defense, A1 and A2 or first and second is really not a big difference, because the guy behind the guy needs to play. And you're talking about 90 snaps in a game, and kids are so worried about who goes out there first. And I think a guy earned that. He earned going out there first. But if you're going to play 90 snaps and you play 45, that's a ton of snaps, giving all your effort, running to the ball every play. And it's just a difference for a defensive guy and an offensive guy. He's got to play because the one guy that doesn't do his job, that's where the ball will always find it. And, so he's got to play lights out every snap. And so if we can rest those guys, particularly in the D-line, linebackers, I think we did a good job of rolling players. And, as many snaps as Ball State's trying to get, we're going to have to be able to do that this week.
I think you were asked last week just being able to have game tape now.
Yeah.
And how valuable is that now that you have a game under your belt to look at?
Yeah, I think just the reality for a player to say, okay, everything you've been saying, it was some of our coaches, I think, said, okay, now I see why you're like you are, and I think they said it to each other. But, of course, I always get to hear these things, and I said, well, you think I'm being crazy. No, this is what it takes. Even our young coaches or a guy that hadn't been around me before, or defensively, the effort that it takes. I think now, okay, there it is. And we were saying this yesterday as we started practice. All right, first break, you're coming out. Remember that feeling? How did you feel when we were breaking it down, getting ready to run on the field? That's what we need at practice today. And now we've got something to point to. We got real film. We've got real emotions. I think all those things that go with playing in a game, and the only way to do it is to play in a real game that counts.
You have prepared for a game 2 in a season in 3 years. How does that feel for you and your staff, like on a Tuesday of game week that you're so used to for so long?
Yesterday felt really good. I thought we did a really good job on a Monday, and I'm going to grade every practice, every meeting, and as I say, there's other guys that are paid to do the same thing we are. There's other players that are on scholarship doing the same thing our guys are. Who does it a little bit better? And that's what we've got to try and do is find all those edges. But it felt good. We did practice for what a Monday looked like. We didn't go, last Monday was not a Monday. It was really a Tuesday because we did 2 Thursdays. And I was laughing. Coach Kenny said, no, is this a Wednesday or Thursday? I said, well, it's a Thursday practice on Wednesday. But that's all based on how we treat each day. What's our gear look like? What's our preparation? And so, we had 2 guys that were a little sore yesterday, which is now you're literally dealing with game soreness. And hopefully then all our yoga and rehab and cryotherapy and all these other things we do to try and take care of our players pays off.
I'm sore every day. So give me something about this yoga because I need all
I'm gonna have you out there this afternoon doing yoga with her. She'll put you through it. So.
The defensive depth chart, there was a couple of Thomas Johnson and Garrett Marino were both kind of moved up to the
Yeah.
forward where they
Yeah.
I mean, is that when you do that, is that based on just game performance and how they play?
Well, yeah. So I didn't mean to cut you off, but Marino is an oar. He's been an oar. Him and Q are just, it's that same deal, kind of like the guy over here. You know, to get the most out of those interior guys, you got to have somebody behind them. Somebody, like I said, somebody goes out there first for a reason. But those two, Thaggart and Marino, is really an oar. And then Johnston played very well, and Fitz didn't play bad, but Johnston played very well. Fitz is still the starter, but Johnston is an oar now.
That was obviously your first chance to see him play college. I mean, was it surprising that he played so well early, or did you kind of see that coming?
We saw it coming, but I mean, he's played so much. I mean, you got a guy that's been starting since the 8th grade, and he's got to keep getting a lot better. I think one of the things for him was he had not really worked his upper body because he was a baseball player. And that's where we're going to start seeing a big difference in him as he gets stronger and faster. He's got such good instincts. And, he's a guy literally walking in the hall every day with a smile on his face. And that's what you want out of a defensive guy. He's happy to be here. He's excited. His mom came by Saturday and was just talking about how excited they were. These are people I've known. But I think as a coach, when you hear your players are enjoying it and they're excited, but we expected big things out of him. We got to keep him humble. But I think he performed very well, and Fitz played well too.
With Marino, he was a kid from California, and I remember when he first got here, he was as soon as he signed or committed, he was all over Twitter trying to recruit.
Yeah.
Kind of what has he sort of meant to you guys since he's been here?
Yeah, he's a guy we've bragged on a lot, just because I think he's really changed in a lot of ways for the better. I think a better student, just a better guy. And he was always had a chance to be a good player. He's been different. He came in at a body weight, then he gained all this weight. Now he's dropped it back down. I thought he plays really hard, and it's really important to him. And so to see him really, and that's what we saw out of him Saturday. It's been fun to watch him. Fun to watch him.
Defense had 15 tackles for loss
Mm-hmm.
on Saturday. How big was that, and how big is that going to be going forward to create those negative plays?
Well, there was some times in the game that really, as a coach, I know this sounds kind of corny, but it'll bring tears to your eyes just seeing 9 guys to the ball. And that's how we try and practice, and that's what it takes. And to see guys, first sack by Keeley, and there's 4 guys hugging each other. It was just the emotion, the effort. But now here we go back the next week, so it's just, that's what defensive football is about. But I thought we got off blocks, we played our gaps, and when you get out of your gap nowadays, the ball's gone. There's just, offenses are too good, and so defense, it's a lot of stress on those guys, but I think they played, pretty well.
Coach, you got a lot of guys that do a lot of things off the field within the community, and one in particular that I'm interested in is Shaq.
Yeah.
And what he's doing with his day. Can you just talk about him and that part that you guys try to stress so well with your players and stuff?
One of the things we talk about is making the whole man. And I think it's just like when we're talking about academics, hey, I want you to be a good student, but I'll never talk about it. So we try and always start with, all right, where are we academically? Let's not forget why we're here. Well, that other part of that is, what kind of person you are. And what we found is, whether it's Children's Harbor, whether it's Big Brothers, whether it's things like Shaq's, foundation he started, I think that is the most important thing about these guys. And what we don't do is forget it, and I think by putting these out there, whether we're going to visit Children's Harbor and we get the calls, that meant everything to the kids, and I return say what it means everything to our players. Because what we always get back is, Coach, I don't know if I had time to do that or whatever, but thank you. Thanks for getting me there, whether we're doing the Habitat for Humanity or all those different projects. But Shaq is, he is just that guy. He's that, he's got a son that he loves, that he's in constant contact with and doing things with him. And he's got a plan, down the road, I think, to do some really special things, but just a good person. And I tell you another thing, he played really well Saturday. That looked like the guy that's got a chance to keep playing. when he was walked off the ball, he's knocking down a receiver and playing a screen. He's rushing the passer. He's being physical on blocks. That's kind of what we've expected out of him, being a guy that played for us in 14, had a really good game, but his off the field stuff, and that's one of those things we want to be. We just want to be the whole person. Thank you.
Anything else?
Coach, I've got one. So standing in the tunnel, you were talking about emotions and bringing tears to your eyes. Can you describe in words what it felt like standing in the tunnel, looking out at Legion Field, seeing that? What did that feel like?
Yeah, it was. And when we walked off the field, it didn't look like that. And to see it just packed, and I've kind of used the words, I think that's what we deserve. That's what our fans, that's what our community, that's what these players deserve, to see something like that. It was neat. I mean, I couldn't enjoy it like I probably would have. I was really thinking about just how are we going to perform. But even in all that stress of doing that, it was great. And I knew that would be one of those things that when we reflect back, it's just going to be that good. And now we just got to keep it going. You may give captains.
Yes, sir.
So captains for this week: Tico Powell, who's sitting over here, our nose; Chris Slugger, offensive lineman, guard; and then Darius Williams, defensive back, will be our captains for this game. All right? Okay, guys. Thank y'all.